Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight, from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, game number 2 of the 3-game weekend series. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Scott Mormon is here. That's Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. The Cardinals stranded 16 last night in the 1-run loss. They'll try to change that against Ivan Nova, the starter for the Pirates this evening. And the Cardinals will counter with the lefty Austin Gomber.
We're really looking forward to seeing Austin Gomber's second start. His first one was sensational. Remember, he had the no-hitter through 6 innings. Then they had the fire alarm and it got away from him. He's dominated against right-handed batters, but he's learned a cutter to combat the left-handed hitters, and it's made a huge difference in the way he pitches. I'm really looking forward to this outing tonight.
Gomber going for St. Louis, Ivan Nova for the Pirates. Matt Carpenter started the game with a home run. The Pirates built a big lead and then eventually held on. Game 2 coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Well, the Pirates have been one of the hottest teams in baseball, and it's game number 2, the Cardinals and Pirates in this weekend series. Such a beautiful setting for the great game of baseball. And along with Al Raboski and Scott Warman, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 88 degrees. The Pirates have won 15 of 19 games and now a full game in front of Mike Shilt's club. The Cardinals are 56 and 54 and the Pirates 57 and 53. A look at Mike Shilt's lineup tonight, minus Dexter Fowler, who's on the DL. Matt Carpenter, Yadier Molina, and Paul DeYoung. Then Marcelo Ozuna, Tyler O'Neill, Jed Jerko, Colton Wong back in the lineup. That's the move with Fowler going on the DL. Wong activated. Bader in center field. Gomber on the mound. Ivan Nova and his 21st start of the year. A record of 6-6, and a guy that can see his fair share of home runs hit against him.
That's right. He's allowed 20 home runs. The thing about him is he has pitched better since he's been on the disabled list. A lot of no decisions, and he has kept his team in some ball games, but pretty much going to challenge you with that fastball. He'll get you to try to chase the curveball and the changeup, but there's going to be a lot of fastballs in the middle of the plate.
Clint Hurdle's defense and their alignment tonight around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Frazier in left, Marte in center, Gregory Polanco, an absolute cannon last night from right field. David Freese, Jordy Mercer, Josh Harrison, Francisco Cervelli, just his 7th career start at first base, and Elias Diaz is behind the plate. Well, yesterday it was a sign of things to come as Cervelli was taking throws at first base, some ground balls, getting some work in there. Remember, Josh Bell is on the DL, so Cervelli, maybe to save a little bit of his legs and not have to sit him, can play some first base.
But this is the first time he's played first base in a game for 2 years. And we saw David Freese over at first base. Moran, a left-hand hitter, they do not like him facing left-handed pitching, so David moves over to third and Cervelli gets a chance at first. You know, you can, a manager can prove a young player can't hit left-handers if he never lets him hit against the left-hander.
Or that player could say, I've had my chance and I can't hit him. Two-way street.
True.
Here's Matt Carpenter. We know he can hit lefties and righties. Off to a fabulous start here in the second half of the season. Second in home runs in the National League with 27, one behind Nolan Arenado. And he homered again to start the ball game last night. 5th in runs, the most doubles in the National League, and who knows, maybe an MVP candidate before it's all said and done.
He's also to a great start in August here. So he hasn't lost anything as the calendar moved up a month.
And the 1-0 pitch to Carpenter. Carpenter has reached base 9 times in his last 15 plate appearances to start the month.
One of the things they say about Nova is he is throwing more four-seam fastballs. He's got away from his two-seamer sinker, and I guess he gave up 20 home runs with that pitch is supposed to get ground balls.
He had 5 in one game
against the Dodgers. I bet it was a day game. You know how the ball can travel out in California during day, and it gets knocked down by the heavy layer of moisture at night.
And strike 2 on Carpenter. Cardinals come in as a team batting .248. You say, well, it's under .250. That's 7th best in the National League. So you're a little bit ahead of the pack, slightly, not by much. The 2-2 pitch. And Carpenter hits it down the right field line, and that ball is fair and off the wall. He's thinking too. Throw by Polanco. Not in time, and diving it head first, Carpenter. And that's his 33rd double of the year.
And you got to love it, because we all know that Polanco has a great throwing arm, but you challenge them even at this level to make sure they have to execute a throw, and it's just a little bit offline, and Carpenter running hard. He knows all about doubles and getting himself out in scoring position, particularly first to bat. Cardinals lost 3 runners on the bases last night, just way too many all season long.
Cardinals last night, season high, 16 runners left on base, 4 of which that were stranded at third. The most they have stranded since 1994.
Did you know what they did also last night? They had 15 two-strike hits. There was a two-strike hit for Carpenter also, wasn't it?
It was.
A lot of times pitcher thinks he's in the driver's seat, gets 2 strikes, but the Cardinals don't give up.
The 1-0 pitch. 2-0 on Yadier Molina, a bit low.
He got a base hit his last time up last night, but he was a couple times they intentionally walked Carpenter to pitch to Yadi, and I'll take my chances with Yadi over the course of the season, but they got him last night.
The 2-0 pitch to the Cardinals catcher. We're talking to Mike Schilt before the game about this particular spot and moving a runner from second to third, giving yourself up, and the importance of doing that to the point that the Cardinals are keeping track of that now under Mike Schilt, and a point of emphasis to play the game fundamentally sound.
It's one of the most important things that you can do in order to score is to get that runner from second to third with less than 2 outs. So if you have to give yourself up, it's a productive out.
You can see Yadi, even though that pitch is inside, he's trying to go to right.
Right. And Yadi probably is the best on this team at doing that. Whether taking an outside pitch and driving it that way or inside out swing. Yadi, with all of his experience, and you can't say that about all the young Cardinals now, but he knows how to play the game the right way.
And the 2-2, Molina hits it out of play.
Again, letting the ball get deep enough, keep his hands inside. Try and take it that way.
And
Not
Mike
always going to work, but you've got to try it.
Mike was talking about veterans and their ability to have the inside out swing or take it the other way, more so than young players. So it's not just about guys that have made money that are willing to give themselves up. It's about experience too.
It was a very fascinating conversation we had with him about, amateur baseball today.
Looking at the spray charts, StatCast AI powered by AWS.
That's shocking to me. I would have thought there'd be so many more balls hit to the right side.
But Mike talking about the showcases for young players to get signed, to get noticed, and really you're not seeing at the lower levels the game played properly in fundamentals. He would know. He was in the minor leagues a long time. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled back in out of play. We saw Andy Van Slyke, the former Cardinal and Pirate, where he had a great run here with Pittsburgh throughout the first pitch before tonight's ball game.
Just kind of reminds you that trade about when you're playing with the Cardinals and you're always trying to have a championship caliber team, you don't always have the opportunity to let young guys develop. Like that pitch inside and try and go to right.
Andy, with 3-time All-Star with the Pirates, second all-time in club history, 112 home runs as a center fielder. And it was a trade that some thought it was April Fool's joke.
It was on April Fool's Day, 87?
87, Mike Dunn and Mikey LaValliere. Tony Pena part of that deal. This would be the 9th pitch of the plate appearance and a walk. Very good at bat by Molina.
No doubt about it. Here you got first 2 guys, 14 pitches seen right here. Haven't recorded an out yet.
Ball was 1 for 4 last night. Any game that he's been active, 65 of them, he's been in the lineup.
He did get that 1 hit. He's been striking out an awful lot, but talking with the hitting coaches, they think he's getting real close.
And the first pitch taken for a strike. So here we go again. The Cardinals with runners on base and a chance to do a little damage. A 2-strike base hit by Carpenter. Walked by Molina. 0-2 the count on Paul DeYoung. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Nova throw a lot of strikes with his fastball, but not as many with his secondary pitches. You can't chase in this situation.
DeYoung hits it sharply to third, backhanded by Freeze. Takes a hit away and at least a run, maybe two. Nice play by David Freeze.
Say ball right here, backhands it, goes down on knee to make sure it stays in the infield, gets the one out in front of him.
And the batter will be Marcell Ozuna. 1 for 5 yesterday.
You know, he had a monster year a year ago, and it really was the second half that really defined that season. And he's been hitting much better of late.
PNC Park, the only ballpark he has yet to homer in. He'd love to change that right here.
And that's funny because he's just torn up Pirate pitching this year. 395 average.
Another big crowd tonight. They had a nice walk up, right around 27,000 last night for the debut of Chris Archer, and it looks to be even bigger tonight.
They were entertained last night.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fouled back. Ozuna did have a costly base running mistake in the ball game last night, and if he does not get caught between second and third, the Cardinals would have had bases loaded and nobody out. Now they did get some runs in that inning, but it could have been even bigger. One ball, one strike on Ozuna. Talked about that play with Mike Schilt. He said really it's a tough play because Ozuna sees Oquendo waving the runner in and then puts his head down ready to go, and at the last second Oquendo holds him up and Marcell is caught in no man's land.
All it really did is when he turned his head to look to center field, and then he didn't see the stop sign. You know, no need for him to look to center field.
Way inside. So here it is last night, and this is synced up perfectly on both sides. Watch Ozuna. Looks, sees that Oquendo was waving him in, and then by the time he would even look back, he was holding up the runner DeYoung, and all of a sudden trouble had started. And a fly ball into left center. And the catch made by Marte. Now this is a little breaking news here as Jose Martinez will bat for Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill a late scratch with groin discomfort, as if the Cardinals need another injury, and so Jose Martinez will be the batter.
Well, you can't argue with Martinez and what he's done this year, but O'Neill a little disappointed. He did 4 straight since being called up, played all 3 outfield positions, was 7 for 11 batting average, and very quickly I think he had 10 runs saved defensively. But anytime we see Jose, we're happy to see him.
Martinez had the game-winning hit 2 days ago against Wade Davis. Molina is running, and he's safe at third. A stolen base for Yadier Molina, and that'll be his 4th steal of the season.
Yadi just kind of picks him blind, forget about him, and you know nothing escapes Yadi. And he saw that the pitcher wasn't paying any attention to him. Now Nova may say, hey, I got 2 outs. If I get the hitter out, he can't score, but still doesn't look good. Our short bench has gotten shorter, though.
Here's a 1-0. Jose Martinez leads all of Major League Baseball in hits with runners in scoring position at 2 outs. He's got 21 of those, and he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Runners at first and third, and a 2-0 pitch to Martinez. Grounded foul. Right to the secret weapon, Jose Oquendo.
Boy, Mike Schilt was very complimentary of his entire coaching staff. All have done a great job of helping him out, doing, making this a collective group to try and get this thing turned around.
The point, too, that Mike made is that everybody is buying in.
Yes.
Young players, the veterans, coaching staff. The 2-1 is hit out to left field. A sinking liner, and the catch is made by Frazier. He robs Jose Martinez and keeps the Cardinals off the board. Adam Frazier had the game-winning hit and RBI last night. A great play in left. No score. Open. He was fabulous in his lone start against the Reds. Record of 1-0 and a 3.22 ERA. Hyundai pitch arsenal. The other thing you mentioned was the cutter. That's really an interesting pitch for him. Yeah, it really is, Danny. Remember, basically he was a 2-pitch pitcher when he arrived, and it was the fastball and curveball. Lefties, and it wasn't a big sample size, but lefties were hitting 375 against him. Now he's got it down to 286 because of that slider cutter, and it's a pitch that he learned with just 2 side sessions on flat ground. And the first time he used it in the game was against Freddie Freeman, and all of a sudden Freddie Freeman was out on his front foot swinging at a pitch, missing it, and he goes, wow, let me try. I think this might work. And he retires the first man as Carpenter gets that ground ball off of Frazier's bat. And the Pirates offensively, Frazier, then Marte and Polanco, David Freese, Francisco Cervelli, Diaz, Harrison, Mercer, and Nova. So Jose Martinez takes over in right field, and O'Neill out with groin discomfort. So left on the Cardinals bench, Greg Garcia, Jairo Munoz, and Francisco Pena. It's a 3-man bench tonight. Yeah. Here's the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Now we talked about Gomber, that when he didn't have the cutter,
but he's always had the ability to retire right-handed batters. They're only batting 128 against him. And
man, a late swing and a miss. That's the cutter right there.
yeah, he can use it to both sides, but in a lot of times, you know, you think about it, the curveball can be very effective against right-handed batters. So can a cutter when you backdoor to get it out there. But when you're a left-handed pitching, throwing to a left-handed hitter, they have a natural downward arc. It's an uppercut. So you throw that curveball, and the curveball's coming right into him. There's the cutter we were talking about, but to a lefty, you know, you have to have something that goes east and west, not just north and south. And that's what the cutter does. It allows you to get something that's going either into the batter or away from him. Preferably it's going to be away to the lefty.
And it is popped up left side. Jerko giving chase. Out of play. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, Martinez in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield, and Molina behind the plate. Gregory Polanco has hit 19 home runs as a right fielder this year. Leads their club in homers. Second in the league behind Bryce Harper among right fielders. And yet the Cardinals, for the most part, have kept him in check, but when he's done damage, it's been with extra base hits.
Got off to a real slow start. Remember, we played them early.
Outside corner and struck him out. No argument from Polanco. And Gomber looks nasty here. A couple of strikeouts, one swinging, and this one looking at Polanco. No score.
Colton Wong due up second in this top half of the second inning. Scoreless between the Cardinals and the Pirates. And Colton Wong, of course, coming off the disabled list today, spent some time on the shelf because of his knee injury. Colton spending a rehab stint in Peoria on Thursday. And for Colton, he told me basically just working some game conditions to see the knee would hold out all right. It did. And he said the biggest thing, Dan McLaughlin, is the fact that getting back with the big club, just trying to get his timing down since being out for about 10+ days.
Yeah, Scotty, just one game and then back up to the big league club and a chance to play. There's a strike to Jed Jerko.
And I thought Munoz did a great job when DeYoung was hurt, and did a great job now when Wong was out. We even saw him make a great catch late in that ball game out in right field.
It was interesting, you know, if you had nobody on in that first inning, would Mike Shield have gone with Jairo Munoz in right field instead of Martinez?
Yeah, because he definitely included Munoz as part of the, say, the fourth outfielder.
Inside corner for a strikeout for Ivan Nova. But Diaz has apparently changed gear here for this second inning.
Wow.
I got to wonder if outfielders struggle to see the ball.
Yeah, I would think so. That would be a little tough for the outfielders.
Wong rips it into right field. All the way to the wall. Polanco's throw into second base is not in time. It's a one-out double. Welcome back to the lineup, Colton Wong.
What's wrong with his time?
Looks pretty good there.
And looks like he's knee held up running. So one thing, last night's ball game, we kept on getting the leadoff man, and both times now it's been leadoff doubles in the first 2 innings. Only thing this inning is you hope to drive him in.
Here's Bader, the 8th place hitter. He's hitting .273 with 6 home runs, and he's driven in 15. This really is a good opportunity for O'Neill, Bader, Munoz, and the Cardinals to find out where everybody's at.
Absolutely.
You know, 2 months to find out where these players are at.
And you never like to see anybody hurt, and just think about it. Pham and Fowler, within 24 hours, both of them go out with broken foot.
So that was the move today. Fowler on the DL, Wong brought back to the club. The 1-0 pitch. You hear it all the time. It's cliche that those things have a way of working themselves out. And it did late in the game last night.
Anytime everybody panics, you know, when there's going to be a roster move, everybody knows it. Somebody's always thinking, okay, I'm going. And you just can't worry about it, because how many times does something happen where that move becomes, you know, mute? So somebody gets hurt that you weren't anticipating, and everybody stays.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Bader a base hit into right field. Wong looked back and hesitated. And now Bader to second base. He's in a rundown. And here comes Wong to the plate. He's going to be out. Oh, boy.
Ten and a third innings, or 2/3 innings in this series, and Cardinals have lost 3 runners at home plate. What almost was going to be special. There you see the base hit, and it's a real high throw, so you can see why Harrison goes to second base. But Diaz fires the ball down there. He's going to be out. Then Wong's coming home, and they execute the rundown perfectly. Mercer chasing him back to first base, but he's got an eye on home plate. That's how you do. That was perfection right there, Dan.
Well, Wong, it looked like he got a pretty good jump, and then he looked back right as he's approaching the bag at third. And that stopped him just a bit. He may have been held up anyway by Oquendo with the arm of Polanco. Regardless, though, Cardinals may have run themselves out of another inning.
But once again, why are you looking back? You got a coach right in front of you that's going to tell you what to do. You know, there's Bader's talking with Ollie, trying to figure out, did I do something wrong? What did I do? You learn more from plays like that.
Gomber to second. Harrison makes the play. The base hit by Bader, but no damage done. Gets a good jump. And right here he looks back.
Why? And then they're seeing the throw down to second base. He's jockeying back and forth, makes the commitment, but he's still looking. Every time you turn your head like that, you're slowing yourself down.
Most outs on the bases, non-forced out, and the Cardinals at 74.
A problem last year, and it continues to be one this year.
In steps David Freese, the cleanup man for the Pirates. Boy, base running has stood out in a monumental way so far in this series for the Cardinals. We talked about the pros of it, what we saw against Colorado, and now we've seen a little bit of the other side.
Right.
David Freese getting a chance to play against a lot of lefties, and with Gung out, now Molina needs a new glove.
Well, David's always hit left-handed pitching very well, but this year he's really hitting right-handers very well also.
.290 the average, and the 1-0. He's had a great homestand with 10 runs batted in 7 games. And a cutter again by Gomber. He's got that late little movement where it cuts, and then he's got just enough sink so that guys aren't barreling that up.
You know, it really doesn't have to move a lot, and the fact that, you know, these young kids come up here, they're fast workers. You know, they have a presence about them on the mound. They attack the hitters. Gomber really struggles getting the first strike.
And Freese, a high fly ball into right. Gone. Over the wall in right. 1-0 Pittsburgh. David Freese, opposite field home run. His 8th of the year. How many times has a Cardinal fan seen David Freese go the other way with power?
Yeah, ball up and away, and he can just drive it that way.
Here's Francisco Cervelli, the first baseman for Pittsburgh. And ball 1. On a 3-1 pitch, David Freese makes it 1-0 Pirates. Inside, 2-0. Cervelli hitting .370 this year against the Cardinals. Triple, couple of home runs, a double. It's safely at 7 of the last 8 against the Birds.
Good offensive year for his, by his standards.
Two and two. The 2-2. Just something about having a lefty in a rotation.
Yeah, it splits up things. You know, sometimes you get too many guys, they all look so similar. If you have an all right-handed, or even if you have an all left-handed rotation. No separation.
Full count delivery, and he walked him. So leadoff homer, and now a walk issued by Gomber. Toyota what a key to the game. We were talking about it. We have been talking about it. Keep the rookies rolling, whether it be the staff in the bullpen or the guys in the lineup.
Yeah. I think what we've seen from these young players is very encouraging, whether it's the young outfielders or the starting rotation, that some of them in the bullpen like Pastime you just saw, and Dakota Hudson.
A lot of teaching being done by that man this year, Mike Maddox.
Now, there's more teaching at the major league level than ever before. Guys have rushed to the big leagues, and as Mike Schilt was telling us, that the way young players are rushed through the game or go to all these tournaments, and everything is about launch angles and spin rates, velocity, coming off the bat or throwing it with velocity, and not really learning the nuances of the game.
That's pulled foul. Diaz has hit into 4 double plays this year. I think the point Mike was trying to make is that you go to a showcase and it's about yourself.
Yeah.
Where a lot of scouts aren't noticing whether you hit a ground ball with a runner at second base to move somebody over.
Or even your defense is almost secondary.
Out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes as PNC Park is still filling up. Very warm day here in Pittsburgh. Warm evening.
Well, we've said it many times, but Willie McGee is really a Harrison Bader fan. I was talking to Willie today, and one of the reasons is because he really wants to learn. He's asking him every day questions, multiple questions.
We forget that Bader jumped from college to AAA.
Yeah, in the first season.
Yeah.
Paul DeYoung that way.
And the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jack Flaherty going tomorrow against Trevor Williams. Williams 9-7, Flaherty 4-6. And then we head to Miami. The 2-2. A lot of times deciding whether or not to start a runner, there's so many factors. The speed at first base being a big one. How quick to the plate the pitcher is. And is he swing and miss on 3 and 2? Can you get a strikeout? And with a guy like Molina behind the plate, that can turn into a double play.
Yeah, most definitely.
Cervelli does have 1 stolen base, and it's fouled back. Was not running. Cardinals have talked about Gomber. They love his stuff. You see the 18 pitches in this inning. They also love his makeup. They feel this guy really competes as they're getting to learn more about him.
I've been impressed with all those young guys. Used to hear good mound presence. And my question used to be, what does that mean? He take a beating and he just stands there and takes it? Or does he compete like you're talking about? And go out there aggressively thinking, I own the hitter.
In the air. DeYoung going out, calling for it, and makes the catch. He peeked to see where Ozuna was, and then he had to go get it. I don't think Marcel saw that very well off the bat, and Paul DeYoung had a long way to go.
Well, it's really not that time, but you can see him check out there, and you can tell that he knows he has to go further out into left field than he rightfully should. That should be a left fielder's ball, but if he doesn't see it or if he doesn't get a good break on it, you got to go out there until you're called off. Did the right thing by telling Ozuna that I will catch it, so don't run into me.
So 1 out and a runner at first. I would think another point of emphasis going into spring training, no matter who is at the helm of the Cardinals, and we've heard it every year, but it has to be base running. I mean, the Cardinals have got to improve in that facet of the game. As Harrison hits it out of play.
Well, you know, in the last 3 or 4 years, it always has been a heavy emphasis. You know, be aggressive. If you make mistakes, being aggressive, we can live with that. But you get to a certain point, you have to be aggressive with intelligence.
I mean, the Cardinals ran themselves out of an inning last night, left 16 on. Guys thrown out at the plate, missed opportunity in this game already. And from the fans' perspective, that's frustrating to watch.
You know, the coaching staff, it's frustrating for them also.
No question about that.
And the players themselves, you know, aren't proud of it.
The 2-1 pitch out to left. Ozuna going back over his head and over the wall. Ground rule double. And it brings in the 8th place hitter, Jordy Mercer.
Well, by being a ground rule double, it saves a run. So Cardinals get a little bit of a break right here. Down and in, and drops a bat head, rifles it out to left field. It's on the warning track and bounces over the wall. Saw Joey Cora, third base coach, you saw him like in disgust or upset. You know, he threw his hand down like because it was the ground rule double and it cost them a run. Now they'll intentionally pass Mercer, bring up the pitcher. One for 40 this year with 20 strikeouts.
So I guess what you're saying is you can get Nova, maybe get a double play if he puts it in play, and you deal with Frazier with 2 outs. We'll see how it all unfolds, and there's strike 1. Be the second walk in the inning, first intentional of the game. Bases loaded and 1 out for Ivan Nova. Nothing in 2.
That last swing, pretty good indication. Don't hit his bat.
Looking for strikeout number 3. That pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strikeout number 3, and with 2 outs, the bases will be loaded for Adam Frazier. 2 different innings really for Gomber. Struck out 2 in a 1-2-3 first inning, and it's been a long second inning. Frazier grounded out to Matt Carpenter first time up.
3 hits last night, including the game winner.
Also has made a diving catch tonight to take a hit and a run away. Strike 1.
So important for any pitcher to get strike 1, but it's one of the areas of Gomber, really small sample size, but has a lot of times got that first pitch strike. But what is good is he's usually the second pitch was a strike.
0-2. Pirates did activate Corey Dickerson before the game today. And Colin Moran from the left side of the plate as well. Luplow, Ozuna, and Rodriguez on the right side. A 5-man bench. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Adam Frazier. Struck him out. So the intentional walk to Mercer to load him up, and the move pays off. Back-to-back strikeouts. That sends us to the third. The Cardinals have the top of the lineup coming up, and it's 1-0.
To Gomber, and it looks like we're talking about the cutter and how to stay on top of it, get that bite on it. Frazier there, the last battery went fastball, slider up and away to get the fourth strikeout. And I'm telling you, that slider has been such an effective pitch, but you don't want to fall in love with it either. And the more you throw, we kind of saw him yesterday with Archer, threw so many sliders that a lot of them were frisbees. When he stayed on top of it, he had a real devastating one, but he had a lot of them were hittable.
Here's Matt Carpenter, a double into the right field corner. Since June 1st, Carpenter with 20 home runs to lead all of baseball, the Kubota Power Stats. Nelson Cruz to back of Carpenter.
You would think that Carpenter would be having the type of season he is after the first 6 weeks.
Said he's as locked in as he's ever been. Said there's a comfort level of, as crazy as it sounds, he said to me, peace and serenity at the plate, to where if somebody makes a mistake, I will do damage.
This game is so much mental. You know, when you're struggling, you've got 1,000 things running through that brain. When you can just go out there and, like you say, peace, serenity, and all of a sudden you just react. You see the ball so big and you react. You don't have to think about your swing. You don't have to think about where your hands are. Just react to it.
On base for the second time. Leadoff walk, and it brings in Molina. Molina had a 9-pitch at bat, drew a walk back in the first inning, stole third. Pitch count at 42 already for Nova to record 6 outs. Strike one. Got to wonder if Molina will get the day off tomorrow. We thought he might get one the day game on Thursday. That was not the case. It's been a while since he's had a day. Just to recharge and then head to Miami. And the 0-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. 0-2. Went 1 for 6 yesterday. And despite missing over a month, second among National League catchers in home runs, third in runs batted in. Missed nearly 30 games. The 0-2. I gotta wonder right now with the base running if it's almost a mental block with this team. There's been a lot of errors to where you want to be aggressive and then you get hesitant to make a mistake.
Right.
And that's when those errors come up.
And that's when they usually make those mistakes. But that's where, you know, if your teammates, coaching staff, everybody's got to come together and say, hey, just keep on going, be aggressive, but use your head.
One and two the count.
Dan, we were also talking with Mike Schilt about you know, how tough a job it is with third base coaches and stuff, but you know, you can't look now that in this series you've had 3 guys pulling out the plate. You got to still be aggressive, and you know Kendall will be.
Stays 1 and 2 as he tried to beat him inside.
You know, that's a trademark of their pitching coach, Ray Surge. Very good working with veteran pitchers, but really trying to get them to pitch inside. It'll be interesting to see the next time we see Chris Archer, we see if he changes his pattern, because it looks like he just tries to throw it down the middle of the plate and then tries 50% sliders.
2 and 2. Archer went 4 1/3 and got a standing ovation. His debut here at this ballpark and with the Pirates.
You know, Dan, I've always had a tough time when I get knocked out of a game, and I don't even like my teammates slapping me on the back. You know, for what? I didn't do my job.
The 2-2 pitch. Now, sometimes you can be a base runner and make these mistakes by being overly aggressive. Sometimes you're not aggressive enough. And last night, 2 at home and another one here tonight. That was on the base hit by Bader in a rundown. Wong to the plate and out.
You know, and sometimes too, Dan, you just have to compliment the defense that they do everything right. Make the relay throws. So many times have we said, even at the major league level, they don't execute.
Now we have seen that Mike Schilt in spots like these will start a runner. Now you got a guy like Molina who puts the ball on the ground sometimes, and if that happens, it could be a double play. You don't have great speed at first base, but you feel protected with Molina not striking out all that much. That's something that Mike's trying to do, get a little bit more motion on the bases.
Especially when it's Molina.
And the 2-2. Base hit into center. And the first 2 have reached here in the top of the 3rd.
Yachty, as you said, doesn't strike out much, has that ability to hit to the opposite field, makes contact. Didn't send the runner here, but he gets the base hit. And first 2 men are on.
And it brings in DeYoung.
Time to find an ATM? Again? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Ivan Nova again dealing with runners on. That has been the case all night long. Only twice has he not worked out of the stretch, with the exception of the first batter to start the game. Here's Paul DeYoung, came up with runners at first and second, nobody out back in the first. Strike 1. Seen a lot of that from Paul DeYoung. He's just a tick off.
Yeah, that's why it's time with the coaches, hitting coaches, and they think he's very, very close.
Travis Shaw with a grand slam in the first inning. And they're now in the second. Milwaukee up 6-0 against Colorado. The 0-1. 0-2. Eric Thames had a walk-off 3-run homer against Wade Davis and the Rockies last night. Really good play by David Freese back in the first to take the hit away from DeYoung. The 0-2. Got him. Strikeout number 2 for Ivan Nova.
This is the pitch that Paul is having a lot of trouble with. Not recognizing off-speed pitches down and away, out of the strike zone.
And the batter is Marcell Ozuna. Fly to center. It was interesting. The Cardinals have talked about, Ozuna being a guy that has put a lot of pressure on himself this year, coming from Miami. Certainly there's a fan base there, but not like in St. Louis. And if they can get him to relax, he's got the outward smiles, jumping around, excitement. Looks like he's always having fun, but they've told us he's really pressed. I mean, he's trying to make up for lost time, and the term that was used, hit the 5-run homer.
And Dan, whether you're a rookie or a starter, that's a horrible way to try to play this game. I mean, just impossible to try and make up, but it's such a human instinct to do so. The day you say, you get in the batter's box and say, well, I got to hit a hit now or I won't be in the lineup tomorrow. You can't think that way. If you're on the mound and if I don't throw a shutout inning, I'm going back to the minor leagues. Sometimes it's the coaching staff tried to translate. They have more confidence in a player than he has in himself at this stage.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2 on Marcell Ozuna.
I marvel how athletes can perform in front of 50,000 people, but the psyche can be so fragile too.
It's human nature.
Yep. Tendency to try and do too much. Stay within yourself.
The 1-2 pitch. Tap foul. We saw him in spring training too. I thought his swing was a lot more free and easy. He seems kind of tight, locked up. You don't see the extension with the arms. He had a very good spring at one point. I mean, he was just driving the ball everywhere. Now again, granted, it's spring training.
Yeah, and then season where the numbers count, and you kind of get tight.
You get that slow start.
You're right.
Here's a 1-2. Almost hit him.
Another aspect too, Dan, is when you really look at Ozuna's numbers. Last year was the aberration. He made such a leap, hitting 37 home runs, 100 RBIs, 300 batting average. Prior to that, he was more like a 260 hitter. So we're assuming he's that player. Maybe he's not.
The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball foul. Yeah, last year certainly a breakout year, and I'm not sure anybody expected the numbers of a year ago, but I think we thought
yes,
power would be there.
Right. Everybody had predicted that it would come. And then you have that year, and then it's only natural to say, okay, that was his takeoff year. This is what we're going to expect every every year from him. Doesn't always work that way.
Leadoff walk, a single to center, strikeout of DeYoung, and the 2-2. Strikeout of Ozuna. So back-to-back Ks, and it's up to Jose Martinez.
You could imagine the numbers he put up last year. He was so locked in, he didn't swing at those balls like that.
Jose Martinez lined to left, first time up with 2 runners on, and an outstanding catch by Adam Frazier to take the hit and run away. So 2 outs and 2 on. Strike 1. Martinez, if you just joined us, late insertion into the lineup. Tyler O'Neill out with a groin discomfort injury, and we'll know more about that on the post-game show.
I'm sure it's going to be listed day to day, but bad time.
And the reason being, it's a chance to play every day.
Right. And he's playing well. You know, so you want to see more of him. Also, another aspect of the game is, you know, your durability. Can you answer the bell every day?
One ball and 2 strikes. Nova's getting the Cardinals to chase on that pitch right there.
And that's what he's always, I mean, that's his style of pitching. He wants you to chase the curveball, the changeup. Just want to be more selective and not do that. Easier said than done.
The 1-2. Martinez drives it out to right center. On the move, Marte. He won't get there. One hopper off the wall. And Martinez to second base, and this game is tied.
Gotti running in front of him, and anybody else would probably be a second run, but Jose Martinez has that ability. 2 outs, 2 strikes, doesn't matter with him. He's going to drive in runs. And here, one hops the wall, stays in play. Now we need another big 2-out hit from Jerko.
Runners at second and third. Ray Searage out.
And maybe Ray has picked up something. You know, he's very good at detecting little things. I know he's chomping at the bit to work with Chris Archer. But first base open, or excuse me, yeah, first base open. It's part of the discussion right there.
Take a look at Yadier Molina. He's your runner at first base. And a double into right center. Held up at third, so.
Yeah, no chance. You had to hold him up. And
yep. So the run does score, and it brings in Jerko against Nova. These two have faced each other before, and Jerko's had a little success. We flash back August 20th of last year, and that was in the game at Little League. So 2 outs and 2 on. And a liner fair past Freeze down into the left field corner. 2 runs will score. Jerko to second base, and a 2-out rally for the Cardinals gives them a 3-1 lead.
Just going to talk about Jerko and his ability. He has really shined with runners in scoring position. It was .341 average before this double. And I'm sure that's not what Ray Searage told him to do, is serve up a two-run double, but he attacked this ball. So by the diving David Freese down in the left field corner. And a little salsa. We've got t-shirts made up now for the salsa band.
I'm sure Adam Wainwright is probably making some jars of salsa when he joins a club in Miami. There's Colton Wong with 2 outs, and Wong is doubled to right field. 3-1 now, Cardinals with a lead. Jerko has driven in 35 this year. One ball, one strike. And the next to the Cardinals second baseman. Out of play. Average now up to 220 for Colton Wong, the better part of this season below 200. And the 1-2. It's guys like Wong and some of the others that are in the lineup or on the bench, in the bullpen, that all have gone through the minor league system of the Cardinals and have dealt with Mike Schilt, Mark Budaska, George Greer, Pop Warner. Familiarity with the coaching staff.
Ollie Momo.
Another one.
Brian Eversgerd in the bullpen.
Sure. The 2-2 slapped the other way. That's into left center, and Frazier makes the catch. Cardinals get on the board, and with this, they take a lead. The offense coming alive, and then a 2-out rally. 3-1 midway through 3. Followed by Gregory Polanco and David Freese. And the first pitch is strike. Marte struck out swinging back in the first inning. Gomber has struck out 4. Allowed a run on a couple of hits.
Gomber came in just absolutely dominating right-hand batters, just a 128 average. And all base runners today in this game have been right-handed hitters.
That's hit out of play.
Couple hits, couple walks. One of them was intentional.
And the 1-2 pitch. A little check swing and a foul ball. Gomber from Florida Atlantic University.
The arts of pitching is, can you pitch successfully to your glove side? In this case, get in on the right-handed batters.
It's sharply up the middle, backhanded by Wong, and a nice play. Give Colton Wong a lot of credit. While the offensive end of his game has been at times troublesome or struggling, it has not carried over to his defense. He has been an elite, and the numbers bear it out, an elite defender this year.
You know, and a few years ago it did carry over, but no longer. And really the unfortunate timing for him going on the DL, he missed 12 games, but he was swinging the bat a lot better, and he's swinging the bat good in this game. 1 for 2. Rolled the ball both times.
Here's Polanco, his solo home run on a 3-1 pitch. That was Freese back in the second, and Polanco struck out. David Freese on deck. 0-2 the count. Leads her club in home runs and runs batted in.
See if he doesn't try to attack the slider away. Fastball.
Outside corner, and he struck him out.
Just fastball right out there, pinpoint control away. Done this a couple times when they've expected something else, and he just come back with another fastball. So 3 straight fastballs to him.
And already 5 strikeouts for Austin Gomber. There's that cutter right there. That's a good pitch.
Well, especially because we know that David's so good at going the opposite field. You know, you're almost doing a favor. So a cutter, you know, more than likely should be going in on the right-handed batter.
There it is again, 0-2.
And it's remarkable how quickly he picked this up. Like Maddox said,
it's unbelievable.
Just 2 side sessions. There's, you know, the curveball there. You see how his fastball and curveball, what we call, you know, north and south. And it's going to be up and down. But the slider, or excuse me, the cutter is going to be east and west. So he gives a little movement. Got him reaching.
Wong is there, and Freese retired, getting down the line very well. 1-2-3 inning for Gomber, and the Cardinals on top. An adult Cardinals mystery BP pullover, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Be surprised at the gates. And you could get Molina, DeYoung, Carpenter, Ozuna, or Fowler. August 17th, Cardinals.com/promotions. What a view.
It's spectacular, isn't it?
Really is.
Of course, got a better view of downtown than we do of the ballpark, but playing surface.
We get asked a lot of times sight lines, and I'd say this is one of the places we're pretty high, and Washington would be another.
Washington would be the other.
Yeah. I love coming here, though. If you get the chance, you think about Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, obviously in San Francisco, and certainly here. One of the best spots to take in a game. This ballpark may have saved baseball here in Pittsburgh. And that's ripped out to left. Harrison Bader. You know he's thinking too. On his way to second base and in there safely. How about that speed? For most, that's a routine single. He turns it into a double.
Good to see too. You know, he's driving the ball. He's 2 for 2 in this ball game. Hit that base. You got to play in front of you, but you know he left the batter's box thinking too, and that's how you do it. You know, if you kind of coast into the bag and then all of a sudden try to turn on the afterburners and get to second, you can be out.
And now Austin Gomber squaring to bunt.
And Austin Gomber last inning did something very important. After his teammates got him a lead, he went out there and had a shutdown inning, a 1-2-3 inning for their 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
Now Gomber wants to make sure he's getting the right sign from Oquendo. Francisco Cervelli has not played much first base in his career, and you better watch out, especially when Harrison Bader's coming through. It's a truck. Second time in this game that's been the case for Cervelli.
Little things that you don't think about.
That's right.
They're a catcher, and he has played some first base, but this is the first time in 2 years for him playing first base in this game. And Gomber got to help himself out here. Got to get that runner over to third base, less than 2 outs.
Well, not only do you have to get out of the way, but you got to think about fielding the bunt and where you go on a bunt play.
Sure. A different throwing angle.
Inside and a ball.
Also have to remember, don't be too aggressive because you don't have the shin guards and chest protector and mask on. The guy turns around and swings away.
1-2 the count. The throw down to second, gets into center. And Bader to third. Speed will do that to you.
Yep. When you have speed and you're aggressive, a lot of times you'll force errors. And here you try to do too much. Diaz throws it away. It's one of my little pet peeves. Is that a ball like that, why isn't the center fielder coming in much quicker? And you know, Jim Edmonds had so much respect for Mike Matheny. Jim Edmonds told Mike Matheny, he said, I will never let you get an error. The ball gets away like that.
Gomber puts it in play slowly to short with the infield in. The other factor of what you're talking about, Al, is that it's a pitcher at the plate that is squaring to bunt, so he's not swinging away.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that he's going to be way in anyway.
Yeah, now you know you do have to worry about a little bit if the ball gets deflected one way or not, but in this case it's not. So you know, start coming in, and he does do a little bit, and Bader does have exceptional speed. you know, you see a lot of guys though, they're able to take that base without a throw, and they don't have the speed of a baiter.
Intentional pass to Carpenter to bring in Yadier Molina.
His on base percentage keeps on going. That's the third time he's received an intentional walk in this series.
Now, part of that equation, though, I think, is Molina hitting behind him and the potential of a double play.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's respect for Carpenter, and it's also the fact that, you know, hey, we can get a ground ball here. We might be able to turn two.
And a pitch in the dirt to Yadier Molina.
But as we say, too, you know, we'll take our chances with Yadi. He has hit in 8 double plays, but he has that ability to hit behind the runner, go to right field, doesn't strike out an awful lot.
Be interesting to see if the Cardinals, with a design play, especially with Bader's speed, try something here with Carpenter. Don't worry about it. Base hit into right, and Bader will score, and that makes it 4-1 Cardinals.
And, you know, Yadi talked about, he understood last night they did that twice, walking in front of him. And Yadi, you know, he didn't get hits. But Yadi also said, hey, it worked last night, but over the course of the year, I'll get my share of hits. And he burns them here. There it is, just that inside out stroke. Had the second baseman playing way up the middle. First baseman's holding the runner on, and it's an easy base hit.
That'll get the Pirates bullpen active. Runners at first and second, and Paul DeYoung. And a strike on the Cardinals shortstop. Got to wonder if Mike Schultz thinking about dropping down DeYoung in the lineup, maybe. You know, he's struggling right now.
You know, I know he's thought about it. And remember, he did it for a day or two with Ozuna also. Sometimes you can't do 2 of them. And, you know, you really think about it, I think Paul is mentally strong enough that he could handle it. But really, the last couple of years, that 3 spot in the lineup has really been troublesome.
It's Alex McRae, a right-hander, throwing for the Pirates. And the 1-1 pitch to Paul DeYoung coming up. You hit on something I think that's very important, is that whether he stays in this spot or moves down, Cardinals have been so impressed with his mental ability not to get, you know, too low or too high. He's a very even keel guy.
You know, I talked to Mark Budaska and George Greer about him because he appears to be struggling and everything, and I've asked, you know, because he was rushed so much, I said, has he had time to, you know, go through a slump at AAA? You know, is this like his first prolonged slump? And they said no, he's done that at other levels. So, and you really have to do that to learn how to get out of a slump, and you can kind of keep it to a minimum, then let it become a real problem for you. But mentally, he's pretty tough. He's got a good comprehension of what he wants to do, baseball instincts. He wants to learn and get better. He can handle the pressure.
3-2.
Remember last time they threw that breaking ball down and away, and he got him swinging.
A 3-2 pitch to Paul DeYoung. Runners at first and second. DeYoung grounds it to short. Out at second, and no throw by Harrison. Runners at the corners now for Marcell Ozuna. Got to pay attention on your phone. Right by that first base line.
You got a right-handed batter up there.
That's the
that
point.
Check swing, and that ball's going that direction. dangerous whether you're in the dugout or first few rows.
And a ball to Marcell Ozuna. He's 0 for 2, fly to center, and he struck out.
And whether Marcell was feeling the pressure or not, we know he is to some degree, but how much? You know, you get a situation like this and you go, I've got to get 8 runs in for this one swing. Well, you know, it's impossible. But see him kind of pulling off the pitch. Looks like they're going to come inside on him.
Big happy birthday to Joanne Kurtz, turns 86 watching baseball tonight. Also Kevin McLaughlin. Happy birthday to my brother.
How is he doing?
Doing great.
I miss him. I see him all the time. Now he's just too busy.
Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, the pitch count now at 90. And we're only in the 4th inning. 5 spots away from Nova's spot in the lineup. And the 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
Saw that. They won that ball. Diaz won that ball away. And it's back inside. I imagine Ozuna, you know, who's got very quick hands, but he's been in between at times trying to be too quick or then trying to slow it up a little bit, and then he's behind the ball. React to it.
3-1 pitch. Freeze. Gets up and makes a nice play. His second nice play at a backhand. Molina, the RBI single to right. He's driven in 48. And a 4-1 Cardinals lead. Fourth inning, and our BJC Healthcare difference maker is Austin Gomber. We talked about that cutter, slider, and it's been a difference maker, Al, for the lefty Austin Gomber.
And when he first came up out of relief, he didn't have the slider, and left-handed batters were hitting well against him. It was 375, but once he came up with that slider, it was in the game that he started against Cincinnati. Remember, he had the no-hitter going, so it has really been a difference maker for him. In the 90s, had no trouble with the left-handed batters, partly because of that slider, but the right-handed hitters have had more success against him than we're accustomed to seeing.
Elias Diaz after the single by Cervelli. Diaz has grounded into 4 double plays. Brian Lynn, Chris and Michael Lind are here. Kevin Walsh, our outstanding statistician Luke Walsh here helping us out. Not sure we get through this telecast without them here.
Told our secret.
That's it. They're going to start traveling with us. Two balls and no strikes. Diaz flied out into shallow left field, but a ball that was caught by Paul DeYoung. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Had an interesting conversation with William McGee, you know, who sets the outfield defense, and by design was telling me that, you know, they really want the outfielders to play deep, and sometimes it's much deeper than he really wants to. But you know, we were talking about some of the young guys you got to keep an eye on, you know, learn that part of the game so he could set the defense. But one of the reasons why you might have him deeper is because, you know, it's easier to cut a ball off in the gap, but it's also easier to play deeper. I mean, you're going to give up hits in front of you. Remember, Jim Devmans would never do that because he wanted to take away so many hits. He was so good at coming in on balls, but also going back.
Pass to Young off his glove into shallow left, and Cervelli aggressively rounding second and into third. So it's a base hit for Diaz. Back-to-back hits for the Pirates here in the home half of the 4th.
You tell me, Dan, if I saw this right, but see, this ball's on the ground and dives for it, but it really did. Ozuna didn't react at all until the ball got by DeYoung, and that's what allowed Cervelli to go to third base.
And teams are going to run on Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, because of his arm. You know, it's not the arm that he had last year when he was a Gold Glover.
So give Cervelli credit to play in front of him. He takes third base. And now Josh Harrison with runners at the corners. That pitch in. Noticed in this series, Harrison standing off the plate a lot more than he was at the beginning of the season.
You know, sometimes a batter will do that, thinking they're going to pitch you inside, and then I'm going to have a good part of my bat out there. Or there's sometimes they want it to, and they're going to try and DQ.
Grounded to third, Jerko to second, out there, they turn the double play.
How about that?
And the runner stays put at third.
Have a chance to get that double play. He looked the runner back at third. That froze Cervelli. Then you go to second. Wong so quick going back to first base. You get the double play and you keep the runner stranded at third.
Just that little hesitation and look back right there.
Yep, that's all you have to do.
Cervelli, and then the quick turn by Wong.
And it's also that ball kind of running in that Harrison doesn't get out of the batter's box. He's kind of jammed by it, so he doesn't get a running start.
Now it's Jordy Mercer. Pirates will pinch hit if the spot comes up for Nova, who would be at the on-deck circle. Be interesting to see what Clint Hurdle wants to do if you get Jordy Mercer here. Do you want to squeeze one more inning out of Nova or go to your bullpen?
I would think he would go to his bullpen. Nova, you know, really is not really fooling anybody. Pitch count is getting way up there anyway. But let's have Gomber get this batter out, Mercer out.
Jordan Luplow, part of a double switch in the ball game last night, took over and left. He's at the on-deck circle.
He was their minor league player of the year last season. But I want to see Gomber get Mercer out, and then I want Clint Hurdle to send Nova back out there.
The 2-1 pitch on the inside corner. 2-2.
One of the things I've known about these young guys that have come up from Memphis, they're on the rotation there, is they pitch inside. And you have to, if you're going to be successful, you got to pitch on both sides of the plate, and you got to pitch up and down.
Mercer was intentionally passed back in the second to get to Nova. The bases were loaded. He got a strikeout of Nova and then Frazier in a key spot in this game. And Molina wants to talk about this pitch.
And that's a great idea by Molina to come out here now.
Manage your dream team in franchise mode. Plus, get weekly stats, roster updates, and so much more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. It's rated E for everyone, including UL.
Yep, these young pitchers have a great helper in Yadier Molina, who sees everything. Just a little reminder, you got first base open. It's the 2-2 pitch.
In the air to center. Bader racing in and can't come up with it. A 2-out RBI single by Jordy Mercer. He drives in his 32nd to make it 4-2. Goes back to what you're talking about and how deep he was playing.
Yeah, and I think Gomber, whether he got that ball far enough for him, he jammed him, but he muscled it out enough. And then, like you say, playing so deep, ball will fall in front, inside, and give Mercer some credit. You know, Bader loves to come in and dive, and we've seen him never miss a ball, but it was just a little blooper that falls in.
Ozuna, a base hit into left as they pulled back Luplo, and Jose Ozuna, a base hit to left field. And Mike Maddox out to visit. It's 4 hits in the inning, a run, and now you're back to the top of the lineup in Adam Frazier.
And the first inning, it was 1-2-3. Second inning, he allowed 1 run on 2 hits. He walked 2. 1 was intentional. Third inning, it's 1-2-3. And then now, starting with the fifth place hitter, going all the way down to 9, 4 of these guys have gotten base hits. Good thing he had that double play in between.
Marcell Ozuna in left field, and that's Jose Osuna on the right.
OZ and OS.
Frazier has grounded to first and also struck out swinging with the bases loaded back in the second inning. So the night is through for Ivan Nova, who goes a total of 4 innings for the Pirates. And the Cardinals get into that Bucco bullpen, which has been bolstered with a trade. It's been very good in innings 8 and 9, and now 7, 8, and 9. So that's really critical the next few innings. One-0 pitch to Frazier. Lined left center. That ball is down. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Osuna being waved in. And the game is tied at 4.
Three hits last night from Frazier. See, this time he got the cutter. Wasn't up, it wasn't down, kind of right in the middle. It was away, and he goes that way with it. That's one thing about Frazier. He'll spray the ball around and really hits a lot of balls to the opposite field.
He was 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Intentional pass of Marte to bring out Polanco in a lefty-lefty matchup here. Polanco is 0 for 2 and has not looked comfortable in the 2 at-bats against Gomber.
It's called looking both times. Last time it was just 3 pitches, all fastballs.
So 2 walks, and rather 3 walks. 2 of those have been intentional. And now Polanco with runners at first and second 8th man to come to the dish for the Pirates here in the home half of the 4th, and they've tied it at 4. There's a strike.
Curveball.
Take a look at our Chevy Fox tracks. Big curveball from Austin Gomber.
He's got a good one, but see, that's the one that's just north and south. The cutter gives him east and west.
Get out of play, 0-2, so we'll see what Gomber wants to come with here. And Polanco primarily has seen the cutter, with the exception of the first pitch in this at bat.
And remember, last time he just threw 3 straight fastballs, so they're playing with his mind, because he knows in the back of his mind, he goes, well, he's got that cutter. Will he break it loose here, or will he run another fastball in on him, or the cutter away?
And the 0-2.
Purple.
Good play again by Molina to keep it in front. Cardinals had a 4-1 lead, and that's now been erased. It's 4-4. This big crowd making a lot of noise. One of the bigger crowds we've seen regular season here at this ballpark.
And they kind of got energized with those 2 trades at the trade deadline and 11-game win streak they had late last month.
Polanco, a ground ball hit to Juan. Carpenter has to get back to the bag, and he's there. Pirates strand a couple, but they pick up 3, and they've tied it up. We head to inning number 5. It's 4-4. Cards and Pirates on Fox Sports Midwest. Tied now at 4-4 as Alex McRae is into the ball game. The Cardinals about hit the Pirates 8-7, and this will be our Chevy call to the pen. Only 3 innings this year for McRae, and so the Pirates are trying to get some length out of him.
They do have some good arms in the bullpen.
Think about Crick, Vasquez. Big trade they made with Texas. And now Jose Martinez. 1 for 2 on the night. And the first pitch is strike. First time up, he lined out to left. It was a diving catch by Adam Frazier. That took a run and a hit away for Martinez. And then a 2-out RBI double to right center. That came with 2 strikes back in the 3rd inning. And the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals last night stranded 16 and already 6 tonight. Had a runner thrown out at the plate. That's it out of play.
Mentioned just 3 innings for McRae. He was up earlier in the year, did not pitch. Been with them ever since 2014 when he was a 10th round selection.
And the 1-2 pitch to Martinez, hit out of play. Jed Jerko on deck, and then Colt Wong, the line on Nova. He's off the hook now with 4 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, struck out 3 and walked 3. Big gap in left center. And time called. Talking with Jose before the game in the clubhouse, and said, well, the trade deadline's come and gone. He said, I'm the happiest guy in this clubhouse. So I did not want to leave St. Louis. I said, well, you could have gone to a place and maybe been a DH or an everyday player. He said, Dan, I'm 30. These guys know what I can do. If I have a bad game, I'm still there. I'm not looking over my shoulder. There's a comfort level here. They know what I can do, and they gave me my chance. This is where I want to be. The 2-2.
I went up to him today and told him what a good teammate he's been. You know, the fact that he was leading the team in offense, runs by an end, average, and now a bench player, and he goes, and obviously he can hit off the bench. Not one of the reasons why the Cardinals are more than willing to keep him. And the fact that he's accepted whatever roles he has with the club. Everybody's going to do that.
I know a lot of fans said, well, he's gone. It's going to be a DH. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, from a Cardinal perspective, if he's happy here, and they'll know that. John Mozeliak knows that, and Michael Gersh. You don't find many guys pinch hitting at a clip of 450 in their careers, just hanging around looking for a job.
And also the fact that, okay, they're dangled out there, but didn't get the return.
And he hits it out to deep right field. Polanco back, looks up, it's off the screen. He barehands it, fires into second base, and it's a double for Jose Martinez.
It's his second double. Remember, he drove in a run earlier in this ball game, so just continues to hit. The only time they did get him out was a line drive out to left field. But here off the wall, it's a 21 feet high. Polanco plays that carom off the scoreboard perfectly. But the throw is offline, and Jose was running hard all the way and comes in with the second double of the night.
It's John Mozeliak there on the left. His son Will, who has been with him on this trip to Pittsburgh. And now the go-ahead run at second base. Here's Jed Jerko. Strike 1. 2 out. Double. A liner past David Freese back in the third that drove in 2. Struck out looking back in the second. All kinds of room in left center. The 0-1. Takes it the other way. Fair ball inside the first base line. Martinez will score. Jerko to second base. He's safe as the ball gets away, and the Cardinals are back on top, 5-4.
Just like last time, a double by Martinez, a follow-up, an RBI double by Jerko. Well, Polanco's getting his opportunities to throw another guy out, isn't he?
I'd say so. I think Jerko broke his bat on this swing as well. Sure did.
Right off the end of the bat, just stays inside the first base bag, goes off that sidewall, and Polanco got to it and just fired a seed there, but they couldn't handle it at the bag.
There's Colton Watt, who doubled to right field and also flied to left center. Interesting to see Cervelli, like Molina last night, coming in and kind of handling the meeting. And we should mention there was a play last night in a situation in which Fowler was hurt at third base, Jose Oquendo tried to get the attention of Mike Schilt to tell him that Fowler was hurt before he had made the change for a pitcher to come into Bader's spot. And we were speculating at the time what was going on. And Mike had already motioned. And a lot of times, if it's not a double switch, the manager will just give a little motion with his hand to tell him about the switch straight up. And that was the case last night. If he was going to double switch, he'd come out of the dugout and visit with the home plate umpire. And watch Jose Oquendo here, trying to get Mike Schilt's attention before that switch was made. And then the home plate umpire last night, Lance Barksdale, well, the move had already been made.
And you were right on it, Dan. You had it perfect. And Lance Barksdale was there, and after that final out was made, he just naturally turned to Mike Schilt and said, you know, kind of looked at him and said, okay, you pinch hit for your pitcher, what you going to do? And he kind of just did the straight up. But he said it was one of those freak things, and Lance Barksdale said, you know, hey, I feel for you, but it's already done, and we can't change it. It really wasn't a mistake. It just was circumstance, and nobody knew anything that he is hurt, and then it ends up being a broken foot.
I'd never seen that before. Where
not either.
Manager made that move, and then all of a sudden you find out that your player's got a broken foot. Wong out to left field. That sinks and drops in for a hit. So 3 consecutive hits for the Cardinals against McRae.
Colton Wong 2 for 3, but the other time was a liner out in the left center that after a long run, Frazier hauled that one in. So he's swinging the bat really well coming off the disabled list.
You know, one thing we have seen with Mike Schilt, he is aggressive going to his bullpen, and at the on-deck circle, it's Greg Garcia, and he's got a right-hander up throwing right now.
I would think, we can't see it, but I'd say it's Ponce de Leon. It's Hudson. There's another big weapon.
So Bader is 2 for 2. A single and a double to go along with a run scored. Now you can do some things here with Colton Wong at first base and his speed. They've got the numbers and what they think of this pitcher McRae, how quick he is to the plate, the release of Diaz, and the kind of jumps that Wong may get. You have a lead, you're on the road, they may do something here. Not running. Ground ball slowly hit left side. Freeze only play to first. They get Bader and Wong to second. Run scores, and it's now 6-4.
You get that runner over to third base, less than 2 outs. You know, you got a good chance of getting him in. And in this case, if Bader hits the ball hard, it's a double play. Kind of tops it in no man's land, and Freeze's only play is to first. So still have 1 out now and a runner at second.
So Greg Garcia will pinch hit for Gomber. There was a little hesitation as to whether or not the Cardinals, I think, were going to make that move, but they've done that now. Garcia has been announced. He will pinch hit.
I like the move.
Even with the 2-run lead?
Yep.
And Garcia.
You know, I wouldn't want my starter to be happy. I want, you know, because his job is to go deeper into a ball game. But you know, one of the reasons I like it is because of the arms you have in the bullpen and guys that are stretched out. And you're still learning about it.
Little chopper that's fair. Nice play by Cervelli. He'll take it himself. That's a good play there by Cervelli.
Kind of do or die, like you say, he's played there a little bit. He's practiced anticipation for this game. Left hander on the mound, and gets the ball. Nice little easy step there.
There's Carpenter on base 3 times tonight. Pair of walks and a double into the right field corner. Got to wonder if he falls behind here. Just put him on again.
If you fall far enough behind, yeah.
Sure.
Once again, respect for Carp.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is his last 100 plate appearances in the spray chart for Matt Carpenter.
Didn't understand why they put the shift on. Look at those numbers.
And the 1-1. Previous pitch called a strike. That one a ball, and it's 2-1. It's a 2-strike base hit, a double back in the first inning. Walked and scored in the third. Intentionally passed to get to Molina in the fourth. And then Yachty singled to right to pick up an RBI. Count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Ooh. 2-2. I mean, everything where his swing seemed a little long in the beginning of the year, you don't see any of that anymore.
No. Like you said, he's just so relaxed that didn't think about anything, just reacts where he sees the ball. Hand-eye coordination coming through.
He is 1 home run off the league lead.
That's incredible.
He's got 27. Arenado 28. And he strikes out here. And the Cardinals pick up 2 and they pick up a lead. Gomber out, bullpen in. That means Dakota Hudson, and it's 6-4. By Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home. And by Toyota, let's go places. We have the boat races today on the Allegheny. So we arrived at the ballpark early this afternoon. It's a Cardinal lead of 6-4. A beautiful night for baseball here in Pittsburgh. Dakota Hudson, the new pitcher for the Cardinals. We're in the home half of the 5th, and we were talking to Mike Schilt about Hudson, and Al, he was raving about the future of Dakota Hudson, whether it be in the bullpen or as a starter at some point in his career.
That's the thing I was intrigued by. You know, where will he be? I think it's good that he's in the bullpen right now. But this guy's got a big arm, big sinking fastball. And they all have a certain presence out there. They really, you know, I'm not going to say arrogant, but they're very confident. You know, that they know they're out there and they know they belong. And at least they're transmitting that to the opposition.
It's David Freese, who was homered, a solo home run on a 3-1 pitch to right field back in the second inning. You know, we talk a lot about the coaching staff here. Let's give credit to Stubby Clapp and those down in the minor leagues, and Gary LaRocque, who runs the minor league system. They have done an outstanding job with drafts and then developing the players. It's one thing to draft talent, but then you have to develop it.
You know, that's something where Scott was down in Memphis and talked to a lot of the players and how much they loved playing for Stubby Clapp.
The mayor of Memphis. He's got his number retired. There's a ground ball slowly hit. Hudson off the mound and makes the play. Gomber, Ponce de Leon, Hudson, Arquilla drive to success, and the Cardinals' young pitchers, what they've done so far, and that's how you remake a bullpen pretty quickly.
And it just gained very valuable, you know, pitching time. The only way you really learn is to be out on that mound. Trial and error. You come up here and you have success, and then you start believing that you belong here and carry it forward.
And a strike at the knees to Cervelli. Walked and also singled and scored.
Hudson was the Texas League Pitcher of the Year a year ago and rated as the best slider in the Cardinal organization. We got some pretty good ones.
And the 1-1 pitch, tap foul.
Hudson this year was 13-3 with a 2.50 ERA. 19 starts for Memphis. Not just one home run and 112 innings pitched.
And the 1-2 pitch to Francisco Cervelli. It's sinking action with velocity. That pitch at 96, 2-2.
And at the time of his promotion, his 13 wins led all minor league baseball.
All-star at AA and an all-star again this year at AAA.
He might be the pitcher of the year in the PCL. And might be AA and AAA pitchers of the year.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. First strikeout for Hudson. Community Coffee teaming up with the Cardinals to bring fans $5 tickets. Cardinals host the Nationals on August 13th. Bryce Harper will be in town. Max Scherzer 13th through the 16th. $5 tickets now at cardinals.com/communitycoffee.
I don't think next year there's going to be a little competition for that rotation spots.
Talking about the Cardinals?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They all seem to be outstanding young men that really like each other. Competitive, what you want, but root for each other, and seem to be a close-knit group of guys.
0-2 on Diaz. Hit one to shallow left. It was gloved by DeYoung on a catch, and then a single to left off DeYoung's glove on a diving attempt back in the fourth. 0-2 the count. Popped up to the right side. Carpenter in fair territory with the catch, and a 1-2-3 for Hudson. Coming up, Molina, DeYoung, Ozuna as we head to the sixth. It's 6-4.
foot, and he would stay in the game. He would tell us after last night's game that wasn't feeling right, but he didn't think it was broken well. Eventually, there you see him in the 8th inning, and he has a fractured foot. The Cardinals put him on the 10-day disabled list today, and had a chance to talk to the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, before today's game. He said he was very disappointed. And last reports, Dan, is it looks like there won't be surgery, but it looks like he's going to be in a boot for about a month, Danny.
So about a month. So that'll take him to early September, and then you got to get your timing back, and have frustrating.
What was frustrating is he was feeling like he was getting his timing back. You know, he was getting a lot of walks. He's getting a few base hits here and there. And if you remember, you know, he fouled off there in the 6th inning. But it was when he was running the bases in the 8th. Remember, he was on first base. Munoz hit the ball to center field. When he was going to second base, he felt it pop. But it really didn't set in until he got over to third base. It was when you saw right before he went to stop, he started limping.
Ground ball hit to short. Mercer up with it. Talked to Mike Schild after the game yesterday, and he said he actually was standing up next to him, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, during our stand up to cancer moment that we had. And he actually said to him, "Are you okay?" And he said, "No, I got a little cramp, but I feel okay." You know, so he didn't indicate the foot, knee, leg, anything, just a cramp. And then obviously came up with the fracture and is going to miss considerable time. Here's Paul DeYoung. DeYoung was robbed by David Freese back in the 1st inning. He struck out, grounded into a fielder's choice. This is the 2nd inning for McRae in relief of Ivan Nova, who went 4 innings, 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 3 and walked 3.
Van Hertel stretching out his reliever a little bit. You know, still feels that this game is within range. Plenty of game left to come from behind.
I still believe the strongest jaws in baseball.
Yeah, with the way he chews gums.
It's incredible. He'd be the human portion of Shark Week. Now he starts to pace in the dugout. It's a 1-out walk. And it brings in Ozuna, who's 0 for 3. Really, it's been the bottom of the Cardinals lineup that's done a lot of damage.
Really, I mean, Ozuna and Paul DeYoung haven't joined in on the fun.
Not yet. The strike on the inside corner.
Everybody's got a hit in the lineup except for DeYoung and Ozuna.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Going back, and I know that Ray Surge talks about pitching inside, doesn't matter who's at the plate, but they're really trying to pound Ozuna in all weekend long.
And I think that's what has been beating him. You know, you pitch in, and then you start opening up a little bit, and then they expose the outside part of the plate with a sweeping slider or breaking ball.
Up the middle, and that's off McRae. Ozuna to first, and he's out. Nice play by Harrison. It'll go 1-4-3.
And of course, it helps to have a little luck too. Ball doesn't hit the pitcher. It's a base hit. It's hit so hard. To go through. See Harrison reacts, spins and throws. Close play at first.
Good play. And it's up to Jose Martinez. Jerko at the on-deck circle. Jose with a couple of hits. He's 2 for 3. Both have been doubles. 2 runs scored. Two outs and a runner at second. Strike one on Martinez. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 6th, it'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the Pirates.
This is an area where he's already come through today with a couple doubles. He's got an RBI, but .457 average, 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
One ball and 1 strike. DeYoung at second base.
Trying the wave here, Danny. That's something you've always loved.
Absolutely, and I was taught to love it by Jim Hayes.
There's a lot of loving going on between you two.
Jimmy will be with us in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
Timmy will be with you.
And then you're back in Kansas City. That puts a smile on Jim Hayes' face. You know that back home in the studios of Fox Sports Midwest. Anytime the wave gets going.
I'm sure he's doing it on the set, isn't he?
Yeah. Right now. One ball, 2 strikes. Up and in. 2-2. What do you think? How far can you go with Hudson, who's now in a bullpen instead of being in the rotation? Not that far removed.
Yeah, he hasn't been that far removed from it. I wouldn't think you wouldn't complete the game, because one way or another Norris probably needs to pitch. He hadn't pitched in 4 days.
I think you'd like to give Hicks some time off if you could.
If you could get to the 8th inning, you know, that would be a great job.
Brevia is more than likely off limits.
You got Flaherty going tomorrow, another pitcher that you're more than likely not projecting is going to go much more than 6.
No time called by Diaz, the catcher. 3-2 the count with a runner at second base.
I said that I didn't mind the move. You had the 2-run lead. Gomber, sure, you'd like to go out there and have a chance to win the ball game, but you've got arms down there. It's not like early in the season when you didn't have good options. Now you've got great options down there. Dan, I guess the other thing is, Mike Maddox and veteran guys, go to the young pitcher and say, well, if you want to stay in there, throw more shutout innings.
And a walk with 2 outs, the second in the inning. Cardinals have received 6 tonight.
I thought there was a lot of good that we saw from Gomber. They did get 3 runs off him this, the final inning.
Jed Jerko with a couple of doubles in this ball game tonight. Get a liner past David Freese and also one to the other side just inside the first base line, and that's a ball.
Gray throwing a lot of pitches for just working in his second inning.
Jed is driven in 3 on the night.
Gray was a starter at AAA.
And the 1-0 pitch to Jed Jerko. 2-0. Colton Wong at the on-deck circle. Cardinals on their bench, left with 2. Jose Martinez had to come in this game early after the groin strain for Tyler O'Neill, so he was a late scratch. Martinez in. Greg Garcia pinch hit back in the 5th. And they've got Jairo Munoz and the backup catcher, Francisco Pena. Ray Searage out to visit with McRae. As Al mentioned, Jack Flaherty against Trevor Williams tomorrow. 1:35 local start here in Pittsburgh. 12:35 back home. Noon with the pregame show. Runners at first and second. Cardinals about to hit the Pirates 11-7 and lead by 2 runs. Jerko trying to add to it. 3-0. Wong on deck. And you know Jed's got the green light here. Now mentioned moments ago that McRae a starter in the minor leagues, so nobody up and throwing right now for the Pirates in their pen. A 3-0 pitch to Jerko. Popped up and behind home plate, and boy, he just missed his pitch.
Yeah. I'm a pitcher. I say, well, you didn't get the pitch you wanted because you popped it up, but it's just such a
oh boy,
little minute, just a little underneath it, just a little too far on the end of the bat.
The 3-1 pitch taken high, and 3 walks in the inning. Back to back here, and they're loaded up for Colton Wong. This is all McRae right now.
If you want to stay at the big league level, you can't be walking 3 in an inning.
Wong is double to right, fly to left center, and single to left field. 2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch to Colton. Ripped to the second baseman. Harrison knocks it down. Wong is safe, and a run will score. 7-4 Cardinals.
Wong's had a good day. It's the 4th ball he's hit hard. His 3rd hit. He drives in a run. And one time they got him out, he smoked the ball out in left center, and Frazier, after a long run, hauled it in. You have to say, after 3 walks, be ready for a strike, and he was. Harrison almost comes up with a dandy, but couldn't hold on to it, and then tried to make the desperate throw. But Wong, with his speed, it's a base hit once the separation from his glove.
Here's Harrison Bader, 2 for 3, single and a double. And Bader lifts it out to shallow left, racing in Frazier to make the catch. Cardinals strand the bases loaded, but they pick up a run thanks to Colton Wong. And it's a 3-run lead, 7-4 St. Louis. second inning of work. Cardinals about hit the Pirates 12-7 in this ball game.
Sunday arsenal, fastball, slider, curveball, but really a two-pitch pitcher. You know, a lot of people think a starter has to have 4 pitches. No, what a starter has to have is 2 really good ones. Now, it helps to have other ones, but there's a classic story where I see Gibby one day, and Gibby's all upset. He was a pitching coach, and I said, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "What's wrong?" "Nothing." I said, "Come on, what's wrong?" He goes, "Oh, you know me, I said something I probably shouldn't have said." And I started laughing. He goes, "You know, one of our pitchers has about 5 pitches, and he told me he wanted to get another pitch or 2, and I said, well, you ever thought about throwing away about 3 or 4 of those really bad ones and concentrating trying to get a couple good ones?" Gibby was a 2-pitch pitcher. He was a fastball slider pitcher. He told me, he goes, "I had a curveball, but I was afraid to throw it. It was a roller." So he was a fastball slider, but they were 2 exceptional pitchers.
Did you hear the rumbling?
It's fireworks.
All the players kind of looking around. We didn't see any fireworks. You just hear the rumbling.
It's got to be behind us.
Oh, there
it
it
is.
is. Okay.
I thought we were in this large crowd. It was going to be a fireworks night. And actually, Danny, this is the first time in history I got to the ballpark before you, and I saw all the boats on the river, and I thought that was because it was a fireworks night.
We got to be honest, Al. You did not beat me to the ballpark. I was actually somewhere else in the ballpark. But I'm happy that you got here early.
First bus.
I was before the first bus.
Good for you.
Call me a moron. I get
have
it.
a life.
I get it. And a little chopper foul off the bat of Josh Harrison.
Another reason why in our playing days we didn't get to the ballpark so early, because there was nothing there to do.
I can attest.
No TVs, no nothing, you know, no internet. I never had food in a home clubhouse.
Well, that's now part of the CBA, to where clubs provide meals in the clubhouse. And that's back to Hudson. 4 up and 4 down.
Hadn't been well, there was that little weak contact fly ball that Carpenter went back on the outfield grass 3 or 4 steps. Everything else has been in the infield. 2 gumbackers, a strikeout, and a little weak contact to Carpenter.
It's a very easy delivery from Hudson too.
Yeah, just
and a ball.
That's it, just nice and easy, and then the ball just jumps out of his hand.
Hudson does have a win. It came in relief against Colorado. That's hit out to left. Ozuna with the catch. St. Louis's biggest office party is back. Don't miss out on the Biz Dash, biggest workplace wellness event of the year. Runners and walkers are welcome. It's Thursday, September 27th. Soldiers Memorial. Create your company team today by visiting stlbizdash.com. It's brought to you by good folks at Fox Sports Midwest. Some of the fans booing the fact that McRae is hitting for himself in this spot. They're following along and they don't like it. It's back to Hudson. Step and throw. And Carpenter on the bag. Listen to boos. They don't like that at all. We head to the 7th, and it's 7-4. Brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by the Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home. Seven to 4, our score. Dakota Hudson will hit for himself in this spot.
Dan, I want to see him hit, and I want to see him go back out there.
Sure.
But it's also, remember, too, you only have 2 bench players left because, you know,
that's the other part of it, too. Yeah.
You know, was in the lineup but never made an appearance. Martinez had to pitch hit for him. He came out with a sore groin. Back in the first inning.
Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
So the fans, home fans, booed Clint Hurdle for letting McRae hit, and I'm applauding Mike Schill for letting Hudson hit.
There are times as a manager that you have to extend a guy in a bullpen and live to fight another day. Now it's a 3-run lead. They've been playing so well. You can understand. It's a Saturday night. It's a packed house. It's all part of it.
Right. You know who's available, who's not available in your bullpen, and you're down by 3. You feel like you got a good enough offense to come back in this game.
Hudson taps it back to McRae for the out. Reminder that if you're 13 or under, and if you love the Cardinals, why not join the Cardinals Kids Club? $30, you get tickets to a game, autograph party, all kinds of gifts. Visit cardinals.com/kids club or visit the family pavilion during any home game to join. Strike to Carpenter. One ball, one strike. Matt tonight, a double into the right field corner. 2 walks, 1 intentional, and struck out back in the 5th. See, even with those swings, Al, how aggressive and how quickly the barrel is getting through the zone.
Yeah, just not getting fooled, you know what I mean? Just haven't seen any really off-balance swings.
Inside corner.
And he has that good knowledge of the strike zone. You know, it rarely
Do you think of
goes
anybody
outside
better?
of it.
I can't think of anybody in the league better than Carpenter with the strike zone recognition.
You know, a couple of years ago, and that's what you want to see. A couple of years ago, you remember he was caught looking several times, and then they came out that his eyesight was correct, that the umpires were expanding their zones, and he was right not to swing at him, but off the inner thigh.
Ouch. 2-2 the count. Three and two. Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Carpenter. McRae struck out 2, and both times it's been Carpenter.
How about that, huh? Didn't think it pitched down and in. Be to his liking.
And Yadier Molina on base 3 times tonight. Fouled back.
Cardinals have played 15 full innings in this series, and they've left 26 men on. At least one every inning. Here's a base hit with 2 outs.
Third hit for Molina tonight. On base for the 4th time. The batter will be Paul DeYoung. 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. McRae came in the 5th inning in relief of Nova. That pitch taken high.
4-4 at that time.
The 1-0 pitch to DeYoung. And a fly ball out to shallow left center. Starling Marte with the catch, and it's time to stretch. Cardinals 7, Pirates 4 on Fox Sports Midwest. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the content and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. This will be the third inning for Dakota Hudson. 6 up and 6 down in relief of Austin Gomber, who went 4 tonight. And Hudson has looked fantastic.
And really, one ball hit out of the infield, and it was just a shallow fly ball to left. Three balls just back to him.
And the first pitch is strike to Adam Frazier.
Cardinals have had trouble with him the last couple of years.
And a fly ball out to left, backing up Ozuna. Makes the catch.
Seven up, 7 down.
Looking for tickets, home or road? Get the StubHub app and you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets up until the first pitch. StubHub, official partner of your Cardinals. Here's Starling Marte. And Marte with a fly ball into center, calling for it. Bader. Boy, this is impressive right now.
26 pitches to get the first 8 outs. Myers, who hadn't worked for a while, is warming up, and along with Shreve.
And the batter is Polanco. Hudson had made 3 appearances prior to tonight, 3 innings and just 1 hit. It struck out 3. 3 seemed to be the right number right now for Dakota. 13-3 at Memphis, and working on a 3rd scoreless inning.
Just firing strikes too. Good quality pitches. He's hit the ball very hard against him.
And a ground ball that's hit to Colton Wong. Dakota Hudson 9 up and 9 down. Only 28 pitches. Does he have another inning in him? It's 7-4. Here's Marcell Ozuna. McRae in relief in the 5th and still in this ball game. It's 7-4. And a ball to Ozuna.
It's like with Jordan Hicks warming up. Not sure I kind of thought that might be a day off for him.
It's Myers on the left and Hicks on the right.
Myers hadn't pitched in a few days, so and then you really need to get Bud Norris in this game. I would think whether it's a save situation or not.
The 2-1 pitch. Up and in.
Norris hadn't pitched since July 30th.
Full count on Ozuna. Hitless tonight, 0 for 4. That's out of play. Spoiled that pitch.
How many times you see him so concerned with the inside pitch, not wanting to get jammed, that he's really off balance on the pitch away, and his hands are so quick he shouldn't be jammed.
And a pitch taken high, and the Cardinals receive another walk. They're 7th in this game. McRae walked 3 in the 6th inning alone.
McRae's only allowed 2 hits. No, he had the hits back in the 3 hits back in the first inning of work.
Those are the first 3 that he saw. Then he gave up a base hit in the 6th, another in the 7th.
5 hits and 4 walks.
There's Jose Martinez. And a strike. Jose's been on base 3 times, couple of doubles. And a walk back in inning number 6. Ozuna, the runner at first base, with 1 out, rather nobody out here in the top of the 8th. And a 1-1 pitch to Martinez.
Dan got a reliever up for you've seen him in the past. He just got called up. You can do it the alphabet name.
I'll wait till he's in.
What's his name? He's from what?
It's Neveraskis.
But if it's from a Scandinavian country, right?
Should be right up your alley.
Scandinavian.
I don't care whether, Hungarian. Neveraskis.
Neveraskis.
He's from Lithuania.
Getting closer.
2-2 the count. And the next to Martinez. To the backstop it goes. And so Ozuna advancing to second base.
I see where Jordan Hicks has sat down and Mike Myers is continuing to throw. I like that better. I guess Norris may have just said, I want to get a little tune-up or something. Wild pitch.
And a fly ball lifted out to right center. Marte over, makes the catch. Ozuna staying put. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, and it's brought to you by T-Mobile. Jed Jerko tonight. He's had a big night. That was a double pass freeze. It scored a couple. Then this one, a broken bat double. Hit down the right field line, and he's also walked. Big night for Jed Jerko. So that'll be it for Alex McRae, the right-hander coming in, 7-4. Dovydas Neverauskas from Lithuania into the ball game and is not allowed a run in the last 14 innings at AAA. And he last appeared in the major leagues a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it's his 4th recall, for the Pirates. He's really struggled, broke camp with them, but struggled with them early and up and down. Opponents are batting .339 against him at the big league level.
Runner at second is Ozuna. There's one out. Jed Jerko at the plate. And Jerko hits one high and deep into center. Marte under it, makes the catch. Ozuna stays put again at second base.
We definitely know in center and right, plus arms.
Woo. Noon St. Louis time. Jack Flaherty, Trevor Williams, and our Budweiser What's on Tap tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest in the finale of this weekend series.
Williams having a nice season. 9-game winner. Pretty good ERA.
There's Colton Wong with 3 hits tonight. Have a night, Colton. Close to being hit by that pitch. Lefties hitting close to 400 against this right-hander. And a 1-0 pitch to Wong. Fouled back in a good cut.
Cole's got 3 hits, but hit the ball hard 4 times. It's normal good defense.
The 1-1 pitch. And a grounder that is fair and taken by Cervelli. He'll step on the bag. Cardinals strand a runner. They've stranded 12 tonight. It's 7-4. .30 right before our pregame show on Fox Sports Midwest. 11:30, Cardinals Insider. Chevy called to the pen as the Cardinals turn things over to Mike Myers here for the 8th inning. And a new right fielder as well, and that's Jairo Munoz, who made a tremendous catch in right field last night.
Mike Myers has not pitched since August the 1st against Colorado. So you give him a tune-up here. Hicks gets the night off, and Norris, who hasn't pitched, what I think of Monday, will probably get the 9th inning. Make sure it's still a 7-4 ball game. Myers getting a lot more pitching, seems like, under Mike Schill.
It's definitely by design, and Mike was telling us he feels he's really earned it. And last night, Munoz thrust into right field and came up with a big play in right field. Really good catch. And they like him as an outfielder. They think that he'll be fine as a 4th outfielder, or if he needs to play every day, could do that in the outfield somewhere.
And I remember that Mike Matheny found out about his ability to play the outfield and center field from his son, who played against Munoz, and said he's a really good outfielder. And at the time, Mike said, no, he's an infielder. He goes, no, Dad, you can play all over the place. And that's true.
The strikeout of David Freese and a good fastball at 97 from Myers.
Myers, very impressive in spring training, and then it seemed like the first couple of weeks he got very little pitching time, and then was going up and down, but maybe lost a little confidence, whatever it was, or that looking over your shoulder. You know, some of these guys were getting it at the beginning of the season. You know, they'd have great relief outings and got sent to the minor leagues because they weren't going to be available for a couple days. So whatever the reason, he's pitching good baseball right now like he did in spring training.
One out, and here's Cervelli. That's up the middle. DeYoung under his glove and a base hit into center. Second hit tonight for Francisco Cervelli to go along with a walk. One of the stories for the Cardinals tonight, the pitching of Dakota Hudson with 3 innings. Perfect. 9 up, 9 down with 1 strikeout.
And 28 pitches.
Here's Diaz. Singled off the glove of DeYoung into left field back in the 4th inning. Third baseman Jed Jerko guarding the line. Cardinals about hit the Pirates 13-8 and lead 7-4.
Good slider. Let him roll over and get a double play ball. Got the good slider. Just didn't get the swing on. Jordan Hicks has gotten up.
If you get him up for a second time, you think you're maybe going to bring him in. Maybe.
You don't want to have, those outings down there where you are throwing and not come in. But
and as we say that, he was on the mound, dropped the ball, and went and sat back down. So scrap that.
I mean, there's sometimes, like Clint Hurdle, he had to extend McRae, he had to do that. And I think there's some times where you're going to have to say Jordan Hicks wasn't as sharp last night. He got the loss, threw a lot more pitches than we normally see him throw. Wouldn't be the worst thing to say, okay, I'm not going to use him tonight. I've got Myers here. I want to build his confidence up. I want, get him to the 8th inning, and then because Norris hasn't pitched for so long, he needs to come in even if you weren't ahead by 3 or a safe situation.
Hicks with 62 pitches in the last week. 22 last night, so you'd love to be able to say, well, he's ready to go tomorrow if you need him. But you got to win the game tonight too.
Yeah, and what you'd really love to do is not have him get, and there were 2 brief times he got up.
The 3-2 pitch, not running, and it's back to Myers. He'll get the shore out at first. Cervelli to second base, and there's 2 away. The Phillips 66 ticket vouchers are back, and they're better than ever. Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more, and you can get a voucher for up to 50% off on up to 8 tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit Cardinals.com/Phillips66. Josh Harrison, a ground rule double to left, grounded into a double play and grounded back to the pitcher. And ball 1.
Shreve, the lefty, has gotten up.
A ball and a strike. One and 2.
Nothing wrong with those 97s.
Ooh, boy.
Good slider.
And it's not just 97. He's got a little movement, that late little giddy up.
And the more games you put him in like this, the more confidence he's going to get, the more he's going to go out there feeling like he's King Kong and go right through these hitters.
2 and 2.
99 with that one. See, he kind of really used his legs in that one, get a little extra.
Does not want to walk him and bring up that tying run.
Yeah, now that's the thing. He's got to do that. Got to get, can't walk anybody.
The 3-2 pitch. Did he go? No, he did not. And the tying run comes to the plate.
Threw the slider right here and almost got him to commit, but we're in our first base umpire and Harrison, he held up.
Mercer with 5 home runs this year. Intentionally walked back in the second to load him up for the pitcher, Nova. He struck out, and then Frazier did against Austin Gomber. Then it was a base hit to center with 2 outs, picked up an RBI, and a run scored in the 4th, and flied out to left in the 6th. Big plate appearance here.
Mercer represents a tying run. You wouldn't think he would be able to, you don't think of him as hitting a home run.
The pick off to second, and back in safely, Cervelli.
Strike one by Myers. So sometimes the catcher can jump up like this, make that throw, and screen the umpire, take a strike away. But it's a strike one. That will shorten up Cervelli out at second base a little bit.
And the 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2.
Really in the driver's seat. Not the best slider, but good enough to get the strike. Way ahead in the count.
Up the middle. DeYoung gloves. Flips to second, and the out. Wong holds on. And a key out started by Paul DeYoung. Ooh, that was close, and Wong the stretch at second base. Nice play. All right, Jimmy, thank you. We're seeing, just a different look to this team. And, Mike Schilt and Jose Oquendo have been very close in this transition. And Mike has talked about how Jose has been huge for him in this transition, getting everybody on board, helping him out, talking situational baseball. The guys just came off the field. There's high fives, more excitement in the dugout. I mean, it's a different feel.
I had a long talk with William McGee today, and it was just praising Mike Schilt for how his baseball knowledge, how much he knows, what he's doing.
And Bader hits it out to right, but that'll carry to Polanco.
Really jumping into this coaching thing with both feet. I mean, he's loving it, but he wants guys to work, and guys are working, and they're learning.
There's Jairo Munoz as part of the double switch. It's good to see, though, the coaches talking. Open communication.
No doubt. And decades ago, a lot of times a manager, you know, at least one or two guys in the coaching staff were his drinking buddies. You know, but now you better take the best available instructors, teachers, guys that can handle, you know, working with older veteran players and youngsters. You know, those two gray beards right there, that's what they call themselves. You know, we hitters see all this gray hair and they go, yeah, maybe these guys know a little bit.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Munoz. This is where Munoz has been really tough in his rookie year. Two-strike approach.
Those guys have a pretty good competitive bat. And he had a tremendous spring. I think kind of surprised people how well he could hit the ball. And then that first time, you know, not playing every day and sitting on the bench, he found it tough.
Freeze gets him by a step. But Norris getting loose in the Cardinal pen. There's Carpenter with a couple of walks, a double, and 2 strikeouts. Would you agree it's been a lighter clubhouse?
Yes. And I'm also going to say, too, that, you know, 3 good baseball men got fired. And the players, they've got to look in the mirror and say that you have to be held somewhat accountable. And I think they've done that, too. But it has been really nice to see how they have come in with a fresh attitude, the players, and are accepting the changes, and, you know, say, hey, we got a season left. We still think we can get the postseason.
One ball and 1 strike. And Carpenter lifts it out to deep right field. At the wall, it's gone! Home run, Matt Carpenter, number 28. And he's back on top in the National League.
How about, you talk about using your wrist. You know, that's not one of those home runs where you just get back there and just smoke the ball. He's a little bit out in front, but just gets that good lift, wrist, and extension. I think Weaver's having a lot of fun with those home runs. Watch this ball. See, I just kind of followed through on it. used his wrist to come through and just popped it out.
And Molina hits it out of play. 28 home runs now for Matt Carpenter, with the majority of those coming from the leadoff spot. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Out of play again. Looking ahead for the Pirates, a pinch hitter, then the top of the lineup coming up. And it's now a 4-run St. Louis lead.
28th home run by Carpenter ties his career high. He's set back in 2015.
And Yachty sends it out to right. Polanco backs up. Edge of the track to make the catch. Carpenter, a 2-out solo home run, number 28. That sweet swing. What a year he is putting together now. A 4-run St. Louis lead. Hudson came in and really shut the door on the Pirates, who's in the 5th. He had a scoreless 5th, 6th, and 7th. 9 up, 9 down, no hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout, and just quieted the Buccos offense. And Dakota Hudson outstanding again. And after that, it was Myers and now Norris.
And Mike Schilt again, very aggressive, going to his bullpen because he had those guys down there that have stretched out as starters. So even though it's not a safe situation, Norris comes in this ball game because he hadn't pitched in so long.
So Matt Carpenter, another big night.
He hasn't pitched since July the 30th. Also, of those 28 home runs, 18 of them have come on the road, and that's the most by a National League visiting player.
24 solo home runs hit by Carpenter. And the first pitch is pulled foul. This is Corey Dickerson.
Just came off the disabled list today.
Going 2. Cardinals trying to pick up win number 57. Go to 3 games above the 500 mark, and then they'd be tied with the Pirates in the Central standings.
Dickerson had left hamstring discomfort on the 10-day DL.
And the 0-2 pitch. Hit 400 in the month of July.
Also had 412 against right-handed pitching since June 1.
Milwaukee defeats Colorado 8-4. Shaw and Story each had 4 RBI in that game. Milwaukee wins again. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Corey Dickerson, and a fly ball lifted out to left center. Bader under it and makes the catch. Our Chevy call to the pen, taking us to the right-hander, Bud Norris. 20 saves this year. Adam Frazier, and then Starling Marte. Frazier, a 2-out RBI double that plated to 2 back in the 4th inning. It's grounded out, struck out, and flied out.
You're coming in a situation like this, you haven't pitched all week. It's not a save situation. Got a day game tomorrow. Be very efficient. Pump strikes.
Frazier has never seen Bud Norris. Third baseman Jerko in, even with the bag. And it's popped up, backing up a few steps. The shortstop to Young, and there's 2 away.
Bud has just really had great numbers, just 176 batting average against by left-handed hitters. .315 with the right-handed batters, but got those 20 saves.
Here's Starling Marte, 2 outs and nobody on. And the Cardinals 1 out away from a split in the first 2 games of this series. Hit down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play.
This game holds. Cardinal played 18 innings here, and it'll be the 9th inning was the first inning that they did not strand a runner. 16 last night, 12 tonight, but you got a 7-4 or 8-4 lead. A little different. You can handle those 12 runners stranded. Bang out 14 hits.
And the 0-2 pitch to Marte. Out of play.
I said you got to come in and throw strikes when you're in a situation like this. Trying to be very efficient. He's thrown 9 pitches and 8 of them have been strikes.
Here's an 0-2. And a liner into right center. Bader is there and has it. And the Cardinals take game 2 by the final of 8-4. Really good bullpen work by the Cardinals. Another big night for Matt Carpenter. And an 8-4 win.
A lot of offense. You know, we got, as you said, some real good work by Hudson in there. Myers got there, Norris. And Gomber, who started, I know he'd be frustrated. He only went 4 innings, but it's still a learning process, and the Cardinals got a team win out of it.
Coming up, it's the post-game show. Jim Hayes standing by with Brad Thompson. All the highlights go inside the Cardinals clubhouse and hear from manager Mike Schill. 8-4 the final.